In a distant corner of the galaxy, the peaceful planet of Oranos was under attack. The skies were darkened by massive warships, and the ground shook as explosions ripped through the cities. The attackers were the Zorax, a brutal alien race known for destroying everything in their path. The people of Oranos had never faced an enemy like this before, and they were completely unprepared. The Zorax moved quickly, smashing through the planet's defenses like they were nothing. The leaders of Oranos and the Galactic Alliance, a group of different alien races, watched helplessly as their best soldiers and weapons were wiped out in a matter of hours. It was clear that the Zorax wouldn't stop until Oranos was nothing more than ashes. Panic spread throughout the planet. Families hid in underground bunkers, hoping to survive, while the government tried to figure out what to do. The leaders of Oranos knew that they had only one option left: to send out a desperate call for help. They activated their most powerful communication device, sending a distress signal to every corner of the galaxy. The message was simple: help us. We are being attacked by the Zorax. We need reinforcements immediately. If anyone can hear this, please respond. The leaders held their breath as the signal was sent. They knew that help was unlikely. Most of the galaxy feared the Zorax, and many other races didn't want to get involved in such a dangerous fight. But Oranos had no choice. It was either ask for help or face complete destruction. Hours passed, and still, there was no response. The leaders grew more desperate. Each minute that ticked by felt like an eternity. They had no idea if their message had reached anyone, or if anyone was even brave enough to answer. The Zorax were getting closer to the capital city, and soon there would be nowhere left to hide. Just when hope seemed lost, a reply came through. "We are the humans. We have received your message. We are coming." The room went silent. The leaders of Oranos stared at each other, unsure of how to react. The humans? Out of all the races in the galaxy, they were the last ones they expected to respond. Humans had a dark reputation. They were known for being fierce and aggressive, even dangerous. Other alien civilizations called them Carnivorous because of the way they fought: ruthless, never backing down, and using extreme methods to win. Whispers spread through the command center. The humans were coming. But could they be trusted? Would they really help? Or would they just make things worse? The leader of Oranos, a wise elder named Rasha, stood up and addressed the room. "We cannot afford to be picky," she said, her voice calm but firm. "The humans may not be who we expected, but they are the only ones who answered. We must hope that their reputation is exaggerated and that they will come to our aid." The room was filled with nervous murmurs, but everyone knew Rasha was right. There was no other option. The humans were coming, and with them a sliver of hope. The leaders quickly began preparations for the human arrival. They had no idea what to expect. Would the humans bring soldiers? Would they bring advanced weapons? Or would they simply come to observe, waiting to see if Oranos was worth saving? As the Zorax continued their relentless assault, the people of Oranos could only wait and wonder. The humans had answered the call, but what kind of help would they truly bring? Would they be the saviors Oranos desperately needed, or had the planet just invited an even greater threat into their midst? In the distance, the first human ships appeared, cutting through the darkness of space. The fate of Oranos now rested in the hands of the most feared species in the galaxy. The skies above Oranos were quiet, but not for long. The Zorax ships hovered like dark clouds, continuing their relentless attack on the planet below. Explosions echoed through the valleys, and fire spread across the cities. The people of Oranos huddled in fear, waiting for the end. But then something changed. The sky began to shimmer with light. Human ships had arrived. The first human vessel cut through the atmosphere like a sharp blade, its sleek, dark hull gleaming under the alien sun. Behind it, more ships followed, all massive and built for war. The Zorax, who had been dominating the skies for hours, suddenly found themselves faced with a new threat. Inside the command center on Oranos, the alien leaders watched in stunned silence as the human fleet moved into position. Their ships were unlike anything the Oranosians had ever seen: powerful, silent, and perfectly coordinated. The humans wasted no time. Without sending a message, without waiting for instructions, they launched their attack. Commander Reese, the leader of the human fleet, stood on the bridge of the largest ship, watching the battle unfold. She was a tall, stern woman, known for her sharp mind and even sharper instincts in battle. Her crew moved quickly, following her orders without question. There was no room for hesitation here. The humans were outnumbered, but they didn't care. They had come to win. "Lock targets!" Commander Reese ordered, her voice calm but commanding. The human ships unleashed a storm of firepower. Lasers cut through the Zorak ships with terrifying precision. Missiles tore through the enemy vessels, causing them to explode in massive fireballs that lit up the sky. The Zoraks, who had been so confident moments before, were now scrambling to defend themselves. But they were no match for the humans. Inside the command center on Oranos, the alien leaders watched in disbelief. They had expected help, but not like this. The humans were relentless. They didn't hesitate. They didn't hold back. They attacked with a fury that left the Zoraks no time to respond. The human ships moved like predators, circling their prey, cutting off escape routes, and destroying Zorak vessels one by one. The Oranosians could only watch as the tide of the battle turned in their favor. As the humans continued their assault, a message finally came through to the command center. It was from Commander Reese herself. "This is Commander Reese of the human fleet. We are here to assist you. Do not interfere with our operations. Stay in your bunkers and let us handle the Zoraks." The leaders of Oranos exchanged uneasy glances. They had heard the stories about humans, about how they were ruthless in battle, about how they never stopped until their enemies were completely destroyed. Now, they were seeing it firsthand. Outside, the Zoraks tried to fight back, but the humans were too quick, too precise. The Zorak ships that had once dominated the skies were now nothing but burning wreckage. Commander Reese watched the destruction from her ship's bridge, her face unreadable. For her, this was just another mission, another enemy to crush. On the ground, the people of Oranos peeked out from their hiding places. They had been terrified of the Zoraks, but now they were in awe of the humans. The humans fought with such skill, such power. It was almost terrifying to watch. But for the first time since the attack began, there was a glimmer of hope. The human ships continued their assault, pushing the Zoraks back. It was clear now that the humans had come to save Oranos. But at what cost? The alien leaders couldn't help but wonder if they had traded one danger for another. The humans were here, but they were not like other races. They didn't come to negotiate or reason. They came to fight, and they came to win. As the last Zorak ship exploded in the sky, the people of Oranos began to cheer. Their planet had been saved. But in the command center, the leaders remained quiet, watching the human fleet with a mix of gratitude and fear. The humans had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again. The battle was over, but the humans were not finished. After destroying the Zorak fleet, they didn't pause to celebrate or rest. Instead, they prepared for the next phase of their mission, taking the fight to the ground. Commander Reese wasted no time. She ordered her soldiers to gear up and head down to the surface of Oranos. The Zoraks still had troops on the planet, and the humans were determined to wipe them out. This was the way of human warfare. No loose ends, no survivors. The Zoraks would regret ever stepping foot on Oranos. The human dropships descended through the smoky atmosphere, cutting through the air like silent predators. Below, the Zorak ground forces were regrouping, trying to rebuild their strength, but they had no idea what was coming for them. The human soldiers hit the ground with precision, landing directly in the heart of the enemy forces. Clad in advanced combat armor and armed with deadly weapons, the humans moved like shadows, fast and silent. Their helmets covered their faces, making them look even more menacing. They didn't speak, they didn't need to. Every move was calculated, every shot fired with deadly accuracy. As soon as the humans made contact with the Zorak forces, the battle turned into a slaughter. The Zoraks, though strong and brutal, were no match for the humans' speed and strategy. The humans attacked with precision, their weapons slicing through Zorak armor as if it were paper. The Zoraks tried to fight back, but the humans were too fast, too fierce. Back at the Oranos command center, the alien leaders watched the battle unfold on their screens. They were stunned by the sheer efficiency of the human soldiers. The humans fought with an intensity that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. It was as if they had no fear, no hesitation. Every Zorak that stood in their way was quickly taken down. "They're unstoppable," one of the Oranosian generals whispered, his voice trembling. "They fight like they have no fear," another added. But it wasn't just their fearlessness that shocked the Oranosians. It was the way they fought, like wild animals unleashed on their prey. The stories of humans being carnivorous warriors seemed all too real now. The humans fought with a primal aggression, yet with a level of control that was chilling. They didn't waste energy. Every attack was deliberate, every shot fatal. Commander Reese led from the front, her cold eyes scanning the battlefield. She moved with purpose, directing her troops while personally engaging the enemy. Her laser rifle barked with deadly precision, and any Zorak foolish enough to charge at her found themselves dead in seconds. She was not just a commander, she was a warrior, fearless and focused. As the battle raged on, the Zoraks began to panic. They had never faced an enemy like this. They were used to being the aggressors, the ones who struck fear into their opponents. But now it was they who were terrified. The humans were relentless, showing no mercy, no sign of slowing down. The Zorak soldiers began to break formation, fleeing into the forest in desperation. But the humans didn't stop. They hunted down the fleeing Zoraks with a terrifying efficiency, taking them out one by one. There would be no escape. The battle wasn't just about winning, it was about total annihilation. And that's exactly what the humans intended to achieve. By the end of the day, the Zorak forces on Oranos were completely wiped out. Not a single enemy soldier remained. The humans had accomplished what they set out to do. They had not only saved the planet, but had also shown the Zoraks what true fear looked like. As the human soldiers regrouped and began boarding their dropships, the leaders of Oranos were left speechless. They had witnessed something incredible, an unstoppable force of warriors who fought without fear, without hesitation. But as they watched the humans leave, a question lingered in their minds. The humans had saved them. But at what cost? And what kind of allies had they truly invited into their world? After the fierce battle, the atmosphere on Oranos began to change. The skies were clear and the fires of war had dimmed. The people felt safe again thanks to the humans. However, there was an uneasy feeling among the Oranosian leaders. They were grateful for the help, but they were also curious and worried about their new allies. In the command center, the leaders gathered to discuss their next steps. Commander Reese and her team had agreed to meet with them. As the Oranosians waited, they shared their thoughts about the humans. "What do we really know about them?" asked General Caro, a seasoned military leader. "They came here without asking questions, and they fought like beasts." "They saved us," said the Minister of Peace, Ilara. "But their methods, they are different from ours." Just then, Commander Reese entered the room with her soldiers. She was still in her battle gear, and her presence commanded respect. The Oranosians stood up, feeling a mix of admiration and fear. They had seen the humans fight, and they understood their power. "Thank you for meeting with us," Reese said, her voice firm yet calm. "We came here to help, but I understand you have questions." The Oranosian leaders exchanged glances. "Yes," said Ilara, stepping forward. "We want to know more about your people. You fought with incredible strength and skill. But why do you fight like this? Why show no mercy?" Reese's expression softened slightly. "It's not that we show no mercy. We believe in winning decisively. In our experience, it is better to end a fight quickly than to let it drag on. Mercy can lead to more suffering later." General Caro frowned. "But you slaughtered the Zoraks. There were no survivors. How do you justify that?" Reese paused, looking thoughtful. "War changes people. We've had our share of conflicts. We've seen what happens when you leave enemies alive. They come back. The Zoraks attacked your planet unprovoked. We did what was necessary to ensure your safety." The leaders listened intently, trying to understand the humans' perspective. The concept of preemptive strikes was foreign to them. In Oranosian culture, they believed in negotiation and peace, even with enemies. "But you're not just soldiers, are you?" Ilara asked. "You're also people. How do you live with what you've done?" Reese looked each leader in the eye. "We carry our burdens. Every soldier faces their demons. We do what we must to protect our people, but we also believe in honor and justice. We don't fight for glory or pleasure, we fight for survival." One of Reese's soldiers, a young man named Jason, spoke up. "Back home, we have stories about heroes and villains. We fight for those who can't fight for themselves. It's about duty and courage. Yes, we can be fierce, but we also have compassion." The Oranosian leaders were surprised. They had only seen the brutal side of humanity. They began to realize that there was more depth to these warriors than they had first thought. As the discussion continued, the atmosphere shifted. The leaders started to see the humans not just as soldiers, but as allies. They were fierce but driven by purpose. The humans had their own values, and while they might seem harsh, there was a sense of justice in their actions. After hours of conversation, the meeting came to an end. Commander Reese stood up, ready to leave. "Thank you for your hospitality. We're here for you, but remember, our way of fighting might be different. You may not always understand it, but we will always protect those who cannot protect themselves." As the humans walked out, the Oronosian leaders were left deep in thought. They had learned that the humans were not simply ruthless warriors, they were complex beings shaped by their experiences. The truth about humans was unfolding before them. They were fierce, yes, but they were also driven by a sense of justice and protection. As the Oronosians watched the humans depart, they felt a mix of fear and respect. The question remained, how would this alliance shape their future? The sun rose over Oronos, casting golden light on the remnants of the recent battle. The planet was scarred but healing, and its people were slowly regaining their sense of safety. The humans had become their protectors, and life was starting to return to normal. Yet, the lessons learned from the fierce conflict lingered in the minds of the Oronosian leaders. Commander Reese and her team were still on the planet, helping to rebuild and train the Oronosian forces. They were teaching them new strategies and ways to defend themselves. This was not just about fighting, it was about creating a partnership that could withstand any future threat. One day, as Reese walked through the training grounds, she noticed a group of Oronosian soldiers struggling with basic combat drills. They were strong and agile, but their tactics were outdated. She called them over. "Listen up," Reese said, her voice firm. "I know you've fought bravely, but to be effective, you need to adapt. War changes, and so must you. You have to think like your enemy." One of the soldiers, a tall, muscular man named Tarek, stepped forward. "But we believe in honor. We don't fight without cause." Reese nodded. "I understand that, but sometimes you must fight without honor to protect what you love. In war, the lines between right and wrong can blur. Your enemies will not hesitate to destroy you. You need to be ready for anything." The soldiers listened closely. They were beginning to grasp the harsh reality of warfare. Reese continued, "It's not just about strength. It's about strategy, planning, and knowing when to strike. If you want to protect your people, you must learn these lessons." After a long day of training, the soldiers began to improve. They practiced tactics and teamwork, and slowly but surely, they started to embrace the lessons the humans were teaching them. But the biggest lesson was yet to come. Days later, the Zorax sent a small scouting party back to Oronos, hoping to regain a foothold on the planet. The Oronosians were caught off guard. Reese immediately assembled her team and the local forces. "This is it," she said, her eyes blazing with determination. "They think we are weak. They think they can come back. Let's show them how wrong they are." The humans and Oronosians moved swiftly, setting up a trap for the Zorax scouts. They worked together seamlessly, the humans guiding the Oronosians in creating defensive positions and ambush points. When the Zorax arrived, they were met with an organized and fierce response. The battle was intense but short. The Zorax were quickly overwhelmed, caught in the humans' and Oronosians' well-planned ambush. The soldiers fought with a newfound courage, using the tactics they had learned. After the fight, as they gathered around the fallen Zorax soldiers, Reese looked at Tarek. "Do you see now?" she asked, her voice steady. "You fought with honor, but you also fought smart. That is how you survive in war." Tarek nodded, a newfound respect for the humans shining in his eyes. "I understand now. It's not just about honor, it's about ensuring our future." Reese smiled. "Exactly. Protecting your people means making tough choices. Sometimes it means adapting to survive." The Oronosians began to see the humans not just as fierce warriors, but as teachers. They were learning the value of strategy and the need to evolve. Together, they were stronger than ever. As the sun set over Oronos, the leaders gathered to reflect on the day. They had won a small battle, but more importantly, they had learned a crucial lesson about strength, honor, and survival. Commander Reese stood before them, pride filling her heart. "You have come a long way. Remember, this is just the beginning. Together, we will face whatever comes next." The Oronosian leaders looked at each other, determination in their eyes. They were ready for the future, ready to face new challenges as allies. The final lesson had been learned. Strength is not only in the body, but also in the mind and spirit. Together, they would stand against any threat that dared to challenge them. And as the stars twinkled above, a new alliance was born, one that promised hope, strength, and the courage to face whatever lay ahead.